Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Friday Night Pint. It's Friday night, the night for partying. Boys and women. I don't know what I was. I don't know where I was going there. I was going to say something, but I completely forgot what I was going to say. I hope everyone's got a beer. I hope everyone's had a good week. The boys are with me today. How are we, lads?
Yeah, I'm right, mate. I ain't had a party on a Friday night for years.
No. When's the last time you had a party on a Friday night?
Probably Friday Night Pint Live when we done it. Last year.
Yeah. I reckon it is about that, you know. But yeah, we're back on a Friday night. We've got a couple of stories. There isn't much going on, to be quite honest with you. So just bear with us because we'll definitely find some things to talk about. If you want us to talk about anything, leave it in the comment section. We'll be getting involved. Thank you so much for everyone for getting involved already. I can see you pouring into the comment section now. But yeah, how's your week been, boys? Good. I know you've been away, Ryan, haven't
you? Yeah. I went to Bally Island. It was good, mate. I had a really good laugh. Good time. Done the old Gavin and Stacey tour. Had a good laugh, mate. Went on all the rides. And that was a lovely beach as well. Beautiful. Lovely weather. Booze, food, rides. What more can you ask for? It's been a good week. I've enjoyed it.
Scott, what have you been up to, mate?
Not much, mate. Not much. Just my usual grafting. That's it. Did
you watch the last episode of Neighbours?
I haven't watched it. I've only seen the clips of it. I'm going to watch it just because of the, I'm going to sit and watch it. But
who's the honestly, right? Be honest. When's the last time you watched Neighbours?
I was just saying off air. I think the last time I watched it was when it was on BBC Two after school, and Harold Bishop went missing, and then he come back 5 years later or something like that. But no, I ain't watched it for years, mate.
I swear I think that's the last time I saw it as well.
Yeah.
And I was around my mum's last night, and I actually caught an episode of EastEnders. Mate, the amount of people that they just bring back is unreal. I don't know what's going on, to be honest.
I haven't missed an episode of EastEnders since I was a kid. I still watch it now. I love it. It's the only thing I watch. The only soap I watch, by the way. Not the only thing I watch, but it's mad. Neighbours is finished. I think it's on Channel 5 now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently it's on at 9 p.m. tonight. So
don't Channel 5 own it, and that's why it's going off air because they didn't renew the thing or something like that.
Yeah, I think the BBC axed it years ago, mate. I think both Home and Away and Neighbours were on Channel 5 now. I think they was both going to got rid of, but Channel 5 went no.
Cool, Home and Away. Is that even still on? I thought that ended ago.
Yeah, that's still going.
There's every time there's a disaster, does Alf get everyone to the surf club still?
I'll tell you what, he's the most Australian man I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
Alf.
he's proper.
What's his name? Alf or something. He's a proper Aussie, man. I'll still wait for the new episodes of Prisoner Cell Block H.
Cool, you remember that?
That's That's another Aussie soap, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did Phil Mitchell die? No, he didn't die. He was in it. So I assume he ain't dead, but you can never know in EastEnders whether they die or stay alive, mate. Because when I started watching it last night, Kathy Bill was in death.
They've been trying to put Phil Mitchell away for years. They finally put him away, but they let him out because he grasses people up. But he ain't telling them anything. He keeps blagging it. The policewoman rings him for information. He don't answer his phone. So like they wouldn't come round and nick him. Oh, fucking hell, man. It's just
mental.
Typical. I think they're running out of storylines on all soaps now.
It's ridiculous, mate. It's ridiculous. But yeah, man. Someone said Rory Jennings used to be in EastEnders. Yeah, do you know what? I was speaking to Rory earlier, funny enough.
I was watching an old episode of EastEnders on BBC Three the other week, and Kugan Cassius was in it playing a bouncer. Who
really?
Does IFTV, the boxing channel. I actually see him the other day at a charity football match over Aveley. And I see him in it, and he was in it for a few episodes.
Oh, yeah. What was this charity match like? I was going to go over there, but I completely forgot about it.
You know what? I didn't even see it until Saturday night. I see it on Facebook, and it was just like I only caught my eye because Kevin Nolan was meant to be playing, and I thought, well, I'll go over there and watch it, but he didn't play. Steve Potts was over there. Raw Fox played. David Bentley played. A few ex-boxers like Spencer Oliver and that. And it was good. The other team at one point had 19 players on the pitch and 2 goalkeepers.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They just put all the little kids on. It was like, it was a good turnout. But yeah, it was nice in the sun, watching a bit of football, having a beer. And it was good. It was all right. David Bentley can still play, by the way.
Can he? I didn't think he could play when he was playing.
Well, if you remember rightly, he was meant to be the next David Beckham, wasn't he? He was touted as when he played for Blackburn, he was meant to be like the next up and coming thing in the England squad and that. But he was a down to earth, nice bloke as well.
He was with us, wasn't he?
Yeah, only for a little while. He didn't play much.
Yeah, I remember him being with us.
I always remember him. Like when I think of David Bentley, I always think of him scoring that goal at the Emirates in the 4-4 draw. And then pouring the, remember when he poured all the, when they qualified for the Champions League and he poured all the beer over Harry Redknapp and Harry Redknapp was fuming and he was in his pants dancing.
I remember him playing for Blackburn and he was quite good. Yeah, I remember him playing for Blackburn and he was quite good. But let's get on with the subjects. People asking what's happened to Vlasic. Don't worry too much. It's nothing major. I just thought I could put a bit of clickbait in there. Did you see this?
Yeah, he ain't beat up David Moyes on the training ground.
No, did you see this though? Apparently,
I see the video, but I didn't know what it was about. I mean, I have seen the video. Go on, I'll let you explain it.
So, apparently, Torino want Vlasic. They really, the manager's a real big fan of Vlasic. They want him desperately. Him and the sporting director have been coming up with a little bit of tension. Because every signing that he goes to him with, he basically puts the blockers on it. So the manager said, I really want Vlasic. Apparently, we want £22 million for Vlasic, which I think would be criminal, to be quite honest with you, but it is what it is. He wants him. The sporting director said, no, we're not going to take him unless West Ham subsidise his wages and loan him to us first. And apparently, like this discussion was going on, and all of a sudden, the manager and the sporting director started fighting each other over Nikola Vlasic. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, now I know the meaning behind the video. It's a bit nutty. I mean, I think Vlasic last season could have caused a few of our fans to act like that, but it was, it was a mad video when you think about it. Like the context behind it, fighting over Vlasic and. Yeah, as I said, I see the video on Twitter, but I didn't know any. I didn't know it was about Vlasic until you said about it and put it in the title. But yeah, I mean, West Ham wanting 22 million for him. I don't think they're going to get that. But if there are, I mean, I see it on earlier that they might look to loan him out if we bring someone else in. But I'd be happy to keep him if he's happy to stay. I'd keep him for a squad player. I wouldn't loan him out.
Well, this is what I was going to ask you. It's like. Would you sell Vlasic? Because, look, I know we've got a couple of new players coming in, but we're still, I don't think the squad's deep enough yet because there's obviously talks about Diop going out again. I think Fulham have offered like 17 or 18 million for him. And I'll be honest with you, that's the most we're ever going to get for him. So they need to consider that. Yeah. And then 22 million for Vlasic. Obviously, like I know that there's still talks about more coming in, but would you sell anyone just yet? A week to go to the season.
I can't see Diop going now that Aguard's out for 2 to 3 months. Unless we get, I know that we've been linked with, is it Holgate from Everton? They're looking at bringing him in. So if we bring another centre back in on loan, then I can see us. I can see us selling Diop. Vlasic, it depends. I mean, if we get a couple of players in, I mean, Masuaku's meant to be going out on loan for the rest of the season to Beşiktaş, I think it is, or one of the Turkish teams. I can't remember who it was, but I mean, they've obviously got plans to move a couple of players out, but they've got to have players coming in because, as you said, we was weak last season, and we need bodies in, so we can't be letting bodies out without getting people in.
I'm happy with the business so far, though. To be honest, I know that we've had a little bit of unfortunate situation with Aguirre. It doesn't look. It does look like he's going to be out for about 3 months, which is a real blow. We're not going to see him until January, basically. But to be honest with you, if I wanted, like, if you was to pick an injury between everybody, I would pick him because that's where we're most stacked. If that makes sense.
Yeah, you've got cover because you've obviously got Ogbonna, Dawson, Diop, and Zuma. I forgot about Zuma then. But Ogbonna's only just come back from a long-term injury. Diop's all over the place, and Dawson's out with, I don't know, someone saying to me the other day that Dawson just wanted a rest. He's out resting. He's not actually injured. But I just read that on Twitter, and 9 times out of 10 what you read on Twitter is actually shit anyway. So I don't know. I can't see Dawson wanting a rest. He ain't like some superstar centre-back that you can just walk in. I know he's old, but surely he'd be playing in pre-season. So
he hasn't gone anywhere, has he? He's played the end of the season. He hasn't played internationally or anything like that. So I can't see him giving him extra time off just to rest. I don't know.
He's obviously still feeling the injury that he had last season. That's the thing. We can't be letting players go at the minute. We're still, like you said, we've got no depth. The depth isn't there. Is Holgate? I don't know what does Holgate play the left centre back role for Everton.
I think he's one of them versatile one that can play.
Yeah. So is that more looking at the cover that left centre back / left back position? Because we as much as Creswell's been a good servant to the club, we need an upgrade on Creswell massively, and that will be our downfall in our back line unless we address that situation. And yeah, right. Vlasic probably wants game time. Croatia in the World Cup. If they're in the World Cup, he's going to want to play football because he doesn't want himself get himself in that squad, and that's the problem that we could have if we can't guarantee him the game time. Then he wants out being at World Cup year, but then look at loaning him out until January, bring him back in. If he has a good early season up to the World Cup, then it plays well for us. But that's the problem. It's the depth. The depth for me is a big problem.
Yeah, but I did see this, and I think the way Moyes utilises the squad as well. I think this could be very, this could be true. I don't know if this is true, so don't take my word for it. But did you boys hear that Masuaku and Diop stormed off after one of the pre-season games? Both want to move. That's the problem, isn't it? Because you've got players there that are not going to play. They're obviously not in the manager's first team plans. People like Diop. He come with us with a big reputation, and he, the first season he had with us, he was brilliant. Since then, he's fell off a little bit. I don't think he's quite cut out for the Premier League. I don't think his concentration levels are nearly well enough. He's 25, coming up 26 now. He joined us as 22-year-old. They're going to want to play. This is how they're going to get their careers back on track. They're going to want to play, and this is the problem we've got. We've lost a few players already to an already light squad. We've added good players, and I'm quite happy with the transfer window. But this is always going to be the problem, isn't it? The lads that don't feature, the likes of Diop, Masuaku, Yarmolenko was one of them last year. They're going to be, they're going to want to play. They want to get their careers back on track. And
I think Diop done well in Europe in last season. With the 3 cup competitions got this in Europe, FA Cup, League Cup. I think I actually don't mind Diop. I think that last season he had a couple of off games in the Premier League, but as I said, in Europe, I don't think he let us down. So if we can get good money for him, then if Fulham want to pay 17 to 19 million, we can't turn that down. No. But we've got to be prepared and in a position to be bringing in, if we sell Diop, at least another 2 centre backs, I think, with Aguirre being out. But then that's when you look to bring in loans. You bring in someone just for cover, someone that's happy to come in and be cover.
Like a Dawson, you mean?
But then
who then ended up being our number 1 centre back.
But then again, that's what I'm saying. If you bring in someone decent, there's a position there to play week in, week out next to Zuma because, as you said, Ogbonna's only just come back from injury. Dawson played a lot of football last season with an injury, so we don't know how he's going to be. So whoever comes in now has got an opportunity to play alongside Kurt Zouma.
And that's the thing is that, you know, to go and sign a decent centre back now, they're going to want to play. This is the thing, you know, having Diop there, right, whether he's got the ump that he's not playing or not, and he wants to go somewhere and play regularly, he knows his position in the pecking order when it comes to the centre backs. The problem is now, if you let him go and you want to sign another centre back till, you know, Agraird's back or Bonner's back, there's no promise of first team football. So it's going to be very difficult to find a decent centre half who's going to be willing to play a few games and then ultimately know he's going to end up on the bench.
Yeah. But then again, it's if you look at the Dawson situation, Dawson was coming in, he wasn't even making the bench.
Yeah.
He was literally, you know, a player brought in to fill the numbers in, and he ended up being our number one centre back. So it just goes to show if you work hard and you show a bit in training and that, you know, I don't like players that chuck their toys out the pram at the earliest opportunity. You know what I mean? You see what's happening at Man United at the minute with Ronaldo and that. Oh, I see. Everyone's having an argument about should he go, should he stay. If a player done that to my club, I'd want him gone. And if that's happening at West Ham, we've got such a good sort of dressing room demeanour at the minute. I don't think you can afford to upset that. But, you know, as I said, it's not as easy as just saying, oh, yeah, you can't afford to do this, you can't afford to do that. What you need to do is get players in. And although we've made some good signings, we have struggled in ways to get a few of them over the line. I think there should have been a couple more at least over the line by the Man City game. But I think they will. I think there's a few deals that will get over the line. But if then we have to start replacing players that are already in the squad, if they was in his plans, it's going to be difficult. So you're in between a rock and a hard place, really.
Yeah, I mean, look, Moyes has got his target in the other day, Scamacca or Scamacca, as West Ham put it when they released the video. And now he's after Kostic from Frankfurt. So, yeah, look, hopefully there will be a couple more players in the door, hopefully before the Man City game. But the transfer window don't shut until the end of August. So even when the season started, you can have a look at what you need. We know what we need, but it gives, after a couple of games, it might give the board and Moyes a little kick up the arse to think, do you know what, we need to strengthen here and there, or there might be another position that we might think that we don't need to strengthen now, but as the season starts, we might need to strengthen it elsewhere. So it's but I'm happy with a Scamacca signing. You know, I think he's going to be good. You know, I really do. And I think that we said it last week, it takes the pressure off Antonio a bit. Antonio out on the wing, I think he can do a good job there. I really do.
The thing for me is what I worry about is we're going to start the season. And I don't feel we're in much better position start of this season to what we were at the end of last season.
Well, no, apart from Areola in goal against City and probably Scamacca up front, it's going to be the same team that we've been watching. Yeah, it's going to be the same midfield, same defence most probably. So it's there. You know, we do need to strengthen. We know that, but I think with the signings of Downs, I think he's a good signing. I think a lot of people saying that he ain't going to play as much this season. I think he will. I think he's going to surprise a few people because
do you think Moyes has sort of learned a lesson a bit with how tired we were towards the end of last season that he needs to rotate that squad a bit more?
Yeah, of course. And like people saying, I mean, I see people on social media saying about Thomas Soucek as well, saying we need to sell him. I mean, look, you play football, you play a lot of football. What Soucek does, it goes unrecognised. And as we said, he sacrificed a lot of his game last season for Declan Rice to move forward. And we were so used to seeing Soucek pop up in the box and score goals. But look what he's done this pre-season. I know it's only pre-season, but he's back to his old self, getting in the box, and he scored a couple of goals.
Honestly.
he does a lot of work off the ball, which goes unnoticed. Which real not so much real football fans, but people that played the game know how much value he adds to that team and that dressing room.
Yeah, the thing is he's when he arrived at the club and he banged in all them goals that he got. I think people thought they were going to see that season upon season with him. The next season we played, like with last season, he was sacrificed to allow Rice to become more of a box-to-box centre midfielder. So you took away that goal-scoring attribute to his game. He wasn't getting in the positions that he was the previous season when he come. And I think people just see him as a one-dimensional. Yeah, look, he's not the best passer of the ball. We know he's not the best passer of the ball. But what he gives you in work rate and effort and goals makes up for that. Even at set pieces, how many goals do we score from set pieces? If it's not him scoring it, the defenders are so worried about him and his aerial threat. They then, you've got to concentrate. Zuma, you've got Rice, you've got Dawson.
Even at the other end of the pitch, Scott, how many goals do we really concede from set pieces?
Exactly. You see against Arsenal, we lost all that height that we usually have. I think, what did we have? Only Zuma and Rice who were over 6 foot at that time. And we concede 2 sloppy goals from set pieces. And that's the crazy thing. To get rid of Soucek is just madness. Absolute madness. You look Downs and Coventry, they're not that tall. We're just losing all our height about our side. We said this last season, we need players that are going to come in. So if Rice is missing for a game, you've got someone who can play alongside Soucek who can get about the pitch a bit. All respect to Noble. Noble was a good servant. He played some good games last season, but we needed someone with a bit more about him in the midfield. Downs we've got now. Downs looks like a type of player you can put in alongside Rice that allowed Rice to bomb forward. You put it alongside Soucek. And then, if Coventry's there to break through, he's another one who looks like he can play alongside them type of players. That's what we need. That's the depth that we need that we didn't have last season. To send him, I just think it's just crazy. People were even saying about it. But don't get me wrong, if we can go and sign another 2 quality midfielders and he's down in the pecking order and we're going to change the style of football we play, then we let him go. But at the moment, the way we play, he's key to our side.
Definitely.
He's getting back to his best. You can see in pre-season, he has played a lot of football. He's played a lot of football.
Yeah.
And maybe I was a bit harsh on him, but I was always of that ilk. I didn't know the ins and outs of the situation, but if he's causing problems, I'd let anyone go that was causing problems. And that's what I was saying about Ronaldo. What he's doing at Man United at the minute is criminal, to be quite honest with you, for a player of who come through at Manchester United. What he's doing to them at the minute, holding them to ransom, and I think it's disgusting. And I think it goes back to a little bit of what I said last week about Lingard thinking that their brand is bigger than the club. I don't mean to be rude or anything, but no brand is bigger than Manchester United. It's fucking facts. But with the likes of Soucek, I was willing to say, let him go. But obviously, he done really well when he first come in. So I would have let him go if there was a different midfielder coming in, and we was going to change up the style of play. But it doesn't look like Moyes is changing up the style of play. And I want to see him with a proper striker, because a striker will cause all sorts of movement in the box and open up spaces for him. And that's what you used to get with the likes of Kevin Nolan. When he played with Carroll. Carroll was such a fucking handful that he'd take 2-3 defenders with him and open up the spaces for Nolan. So he could become the next Kevin Nolan, which he was when he first came. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited to see Scamacca forge into this side and see what he does for other players, because I think there's so many times I think he could, when I'm looking at his play and the way he plays, I think he's going to bring the likes of Ben Rama into his game, because again, amount of time I was watching Antonio just last week, and this is no knock on Antonio. Antonio could go back out in the wing, and I'd be more than happy with that. And he give the ball out to the wing and then run to the wing. Like, and I'm thinking, like, get in the fucking box. Like, you know, you're dragging all the defenders over there. It's gonna, like, you know, instead of like, you know, the winger being 1-on-1 with, you know, with the fullback, he dragged a fucking centre back over there as well, and he's got to beat all the, like, he just hasn't got that instinct. So I'm looking forward to see what the likes of Rice can do with a proper striker. You know, because it like, you know, they call him Sideways Rice, but I don't know who calls him Sideways Rice. I just think I've just made that up. But a lot of people says he just fucking goes from side to side. But he can ping a ball. Yeah?
I mean, for people to say that Rice only goes side to side, obviously I didn't watch him last season, because all I remember at Rice doing was getting the ball and driving forward.
I think his stats show it, right? But
of course players go to side. Players go backwards as well. If you don't lose the ball, you've got to play the way you're facing.
But the thing is, it's what you're in the team to do.
Exactly.
Rice's overall job in that side at times, as going back to England, break up the play.
When you've got someone with a striker's instinct, it's going to open all sorts of like Bowen. I'm looking forward to seeing Bowen with a striker running off of him. I'm looking forward to seeing Antonio with him running off of him. I'm looking forward to seeing the space Soucek find himself within the box. There's so many things I'm looking forward to, but let me just say it there, it could all go to shit. So, like, the pre-season at the moment has been fucking awful.
Yeah, but
it's been really bad.
Yeah, but I'm sure the pre-season last season we won every game. Didn't the one before we only won one game?
Yeah, I've said this before. Pre-season results don't mean nothing to me. It's about fitness and getting up to match fitness. You know, if you want to look too much into pre-season, it's, you know, I just don't see the point. You know, obviously I want to win every game, but it's more, you know, it's about giving players who ain't going to be playing week in, week out, a bit of fitness. Because next week, I mean, we play tomorrow, Lens, or however you want to say it. And then next week, we play Manchester City.
Wake up, mate. Bet wake up.
Yeah, then we play Manchester City next Sunday, opening game. So we could win 4-0 tomorrow and everyone would be happy, but then getting battered fucking next week at home. But I'd take losing 6-0 tomorrow and 1-0 win next week.
Yeah.
Who cares what happens tomorrow?
Yeah.
You know, exactly. I'd rather not even. I know everyone wants to see Scamacca play tomorrow. I'd rather not see him play, because with what's happened with Aguerd, and you know, I could, you know, you just pray to God he doesn't pick up a knock tomorrow or something. But
yeah, it's, like you said, mate, you sit there pre-season. The things you pray for in pre-season is everyone gets game time, everyone gets a bit of sharpness, everyone gets fit, and you don't pick up any injuries.
And it's about
that's a good pre-season.
Yeah, and it's about the new signings, meeting the players, getting used to the club. But yeah, that's exactly what pre-season's about for me. I mean, some people, like, if West Ham lose, I see a meltdown when we drew with Luton last week. You know, I mean, come on, look. It's not about results in pre-season.
And the thing is as well, if you look at the goal that we conceded, look at the amount of height we took off the pitch, and we concede from, you know, play after a set piece. You know, because we lost our aerial threat. You know, we ended up, I think, with one centre back at one point who had a bit of presence about him. Soucek had gone off the pitch. Rice had gone off the pitch. And this is what people don't see about the game when they're sitting there saying that players like Soucek should be got rid of. They don't see the work that these players put in defensively as well as in the attacking section. You know,
I mean, from what I've been reading about this Scamacca as well, I mean, I've been reading a lot on forums and social media and that about, and they're raving about him in Italy. They didn't want him to leave Italy because he's meant to be their future. And there's a lot of people. I see someone on TalkSport the other day. I can't remember who it was, but they were saying that we've got a real coup getting this player, and that's why his club have put in that 10% sell-on clause, because they think in 2 years' time he could be worth a lot of money. You know, and just the looks of it, he reminds me a lot of Marko Arnautovic. Just the way he plays, his look, his style. You know, and it's mad that he's actually got the number 7 shirt as well, which was obviously Arnautovic's number. So if he's anything like Arnautovic, as long as he hasn't got that, I like the arrogance. I love a player with arrogance who thinks he's the best player on the pitch. I love that. I want him to be like that. But I don't want him to have that Arnautovic like what he was at Stoke. You know, he uses us as a stepping stone. You know, he might be one of these players that turns out to be one of the best strikers in the world in a couple of years' time, and he'll want to move on. You accept that. But if he comes in and he gets his head down, and I think he's going to be a fan's favourite, and I think he's going to give us some good memories next season. I really do.
I've got some style comments, Scott. Just go through them. There's this guy in here asking the oddest questions, right? Let me just get this out. Joshua Bond says, Nicky, what do you think of GCSEs? And then he asked me later on, what do I think of depression? They're odd questions. I'm not going to answer them, mate. But Scott, go for the.
I was going to put this one out quickly because it was literally relevant.
What do you think of GCSEs?
I couldn't stand them, hated them. Yeah, E20's OTV says Ruud van Nistelrooy was his mentor at PSV.
Ruud van
Nistelrooy.
And he rates him very highly. And listen, Ruud van Nistelrooy was a top striker.
Mate,
very good striker.
I remember when he done his cruciate for PSV before he came to United. Then come back in a reserve game and scored like 7 or 8 goals. Something crazy.
He was on the verge of signing for United, and he picked up that injury.
Yeah.
But Alex Ferguson stuck with him. He said, "Look, get fit, and we'll sign you next year." And look what happened.
Mate, if he's after player that Ruud was, then we're in for a treat. Gary 4479 says people forget Diop stepped in Lyon and he was quality. Everyone slagged him off, and that's the thing. I think certain games with him suit. You know, it's just the Premier League. Some of the sides we come up against there, I don't think it's. I've always said it. Physicality for him is not his greatest.
It's not like the Premier League's a lot faster, isn't it? Europe's a bit slower.
Yeah.
So
But then this is what you have the squad for, that you can, we saw it at the start of the season when we were entering the Europa League. We played a different team each game. That's what you need squads for. Paul says once before Man United offers 60 million for Diop. Diop was good 90% of the time he came in last season. Leicester and Lyon, I think, were the two at the top off my head. Creswell seems to cause us more problems. I don't want to start slagging Creswell off. I know it's the start of the season, but I agree with that. I certainly agree, Nicky. Diop concentration level was not good enough. Adam 222, think we need to keep attention on both windows this season going forward and be ready for whoever. Chris Mills says Dawson had a niggle and his kid apparently ill, so was given a bit of compassionate leave. Should be back for a bit tomorrow. That'd be good then. Adam says Rodder Johnson's about. Steve Ray again. We'll all see flashes of top-class talent from Diop, but the consistency hasn't been there over the course of the campaign. Jay Woods wants Kostic, a centre midfielder, a left-back, and another centre-back. Richard B says Dawson's got characteristics that Diop hasn't, bravery and concentration. I think a lot of people picking up on his concentration levels are not the greatest. Rich Mushroom Man, 3 cup competitions and 5 subs. We need more squad depth. Players will get game time. That's probably said. But the thing with Moyes' substitutions is he leaves it late. So what we're going to do, make 5 subs in the last 11 minutes. Dean Henderson, worry about Nose is not in the dressing room anymore and to control these effing egos.
I don't know who's got an ego at West Ham though. I don't look at any of them players and think that he's going to come. I mean, Scamacca, I don't really know too much about him. I don't know what he's going to be like, but I don't think there's many players in that dressing room that have got egos. Everyone seems together, and I think obviously Declan Rice is club captain now, and I don't think he'll allow that to happen. If anyone should have an ego, it should be him. But he hasn't.
I'll be honest with you. I can see Noble coming back in some capacity this season.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think ego-wise, I reckon there's probably maybe one player who stands out for me that's got probably a bit of an ego, but I don't think he causes problems, if you know what I mean. Antonio. But he seems like that type of player that he believes in himself.
I don't think he's got an ego. I've met him a few times.
But as I said about Scamacca, I like that. I like players that are a bit arrogant. I think players should have that. You look at the greatest players in the Premier League, they've always had a bit of arrogance, and they know that when they step on that field, they think they're the best player.
I think it's how you
10 they are.
I think it's how you handle the ego as well, because like I know Arnautovic left us under a cloud in the end. But apparently he was very well liked in the dressing room. And, there's no bigger ego than him. It's how you control the ego and how you...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
How you get them to channel the ego. If he's walking around the fucking dressing room saying to people, don't sit in my fucking chair and all that, then, yeah, you don't want that sort of thing. But if he's walking around the pitch saying, I'm the fucking best player on this pitch, I'm going to win the game for you, that's the sort of ego, that's the sort of focus you want that ego to go on.
Yeah. Lucky enough, sorry, Scott, over the last couple of years, we've been lucky enough to see what goes on at the training ground on social media and that, but we only used to see things on the pitch. We don't see really what goes on in the dressing room, but you never hear players coming out saying they're not happy with this player or any of the coaching staff saying, I can't coach him. He's too much of an ego. I think we've been lucky over, and I don't think David Moyes allows egos at football clubs. And I know Kevin Nolan definitely won't allow egos at a football club.
Yeah, and that's what I mean about Antonio. I think he's got an ego where he thinks he's better than other players around him, but he doesn't. He's not a disruptive ego, if you get what I mean. It's that self-belief. He believes in himself. There's
nothing wrong with that.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
but that's what I mean. He's the only person that I would say, looking at that squad's got one.
Yeah, I don't know whether this was an old joke or an old tale, right? I don't know whether it's true or not. So people might have heard of this in the thingy, but there was a manager, and I can't even pinpoint who the manager was, and one of his centre forwards got knocked out in the game. And as I was trying to get him round, he was coming round, and he said something like the physio said to him, "Do you know who you are?" He goes, "No." He goes, "I ain't got a clue." And the manager said to him, "You're Pele, now get out there and score some goals." I don't know whether that's a joke or an old, one of them old tales.
I think that was Harry Redknapp. I'm sure I've heard that story before.
Maybe it was.
I think Harry Redknapp said that to a player.
It's a good one. The thing is that players can have egos and they can bring a lot to the side. That's the thing. Not all egos are bad egos, if you know what I mean.
No, I think, as I said, top players have to have a bit of ego and arrogance about them, but it's how they are off the pitch. And as I said, I don't see anyone in that dressing room that. Yeah, look, that's it. Claret and Booze just said it. It was Harry Redknapp with Ian Pearce.
Oh, was it?
I'm sure. I remember it being Harry Redknapp. I'm sure I've heard Harry Redknapp say that story before.
Yeah, maybe it was. I think my old man told me it.
Yes, Steve C. Handful of their current squad don't ooze confidence for the fans when they're on the pitch. He then goes on to say, respect Ronaldo on the pitch, but he'd tear our dressing room apart. I don't see that personally. Arthur's attitude has been very good over the years. Go 447. So even have a discussion on Soucek leaving is absolutely criminal. We played too many games last season and run out of steam. His quality in both boxes. I think that's roughly what we were saying. Already done that one. Jay Woods, wouldn't be surprised if Moyes got Januzaj on a free, would cover for Browen at right wing. What do you think of that, right?
Yeah, I mean, he obviously worked with him at United and Sunderland as well. He took him on loan at Sunderland, didn't he? So, yeah, I mean, look, if it's a free transfer, he comes in and works out well, then I'll take him as long as he's covered. It's an extra body, extra squad player.
And he probably, again, another player that do all right in Europe.
Yeah.
And European experience, playing abroad, that type of thing, and that's what I think we've really got to start looking at is not. Yeah, I think you see with Roma winning that competition last season. I know there's some tough opposition in there, but as I said when Spurs were in it, it's embarrassing for Spurs to get knocked out when they got knocked out because they were the biggest club in that competition, and we are one of the biggest clubs in that competition, so we have got to push to try and win it.
Yeah, of course, and pressure's going to be on us next season in that competition because we will be one of the favourites to win it, especially after what we done last season in Europa League. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of pressure on West Ham, and every team that plays us next season is going to want to beat us, want to cause an upset. So,
yeah, that's it. E20 Zone TV, £5. Cheers, mate. Thanks for that. If Kostic signs, what would you rate the window out of 10 currently? Keep up the good work, lads. Cheers, mate.
If we got Kostic, like say we signed him now, I'd rate it at the moment. I'd probably say 7, 8 out of 10 so far.
No, I've got to agree with that. I've got to agree with that 8.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's been a good window so far. It's
To
just
make it a 10 out of 10, we need another 3 or 4 signings.
Yeah.
But what we've got, I think we've signed good players. In I think we have. So
I'm with you. I think we've added quality. We just need to add a bit more quality.
The only downside I would call it a 7 because I think we've added good quality.
Yeah.
And I think we've added it in positions where we need it, but we need more.
Yeah.
Like they should still be pursuing Brozier. Like even if it's on a loan, they should still be pursuing a midfielder like Onana. Or I think the Napoli geezer got I think he got out of price. I think they was too far apart from I forget his name now, Milinkovic or something like that. But I think West Ham are doing smart business, and I did say at the beginning of the year that we need to do smart business, not big business, smart business. Because we're not that club. We're not that club to go and spend like Arsenal or I don't think Tottenham have particularly spent a lot of money, but I think they've signed pretty smart. But
they've strengthened well, haven't they?
They've strengthened very well. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've a few more in 3 or 4, probably about 3 more. I think and I think that'd be a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. I think a couple more permanents and then some decent loan signings. Yeah, we haven't loaned anyone yet, so that'd be interesting to see what we do there. But Josh says the squad is weak of fact. Stevie Ray says, I'd sooner keep Manny and Vlasic, Manu and Vlasic, and flog Fornals, but Moyes loves Pablo.
This is true from Gravy, though. 60 million for Richarlison is a lot. I agree with that. That's probably their worst bit of business, in my opinion. But
Jeffrey says, love that Pedro Lobang told Scamacca to get how great West Ham is. Lewis says, I reckon he'll probably get a few loans in. That's what I just said there. I got slated for it, but I don't care. We should cash in on Diop now. Jackal says apparently Kostic will only join Chelsea if he comes to England.
Yeah, that's the next thing that we got on our list, the Kostic thing. It looks like it might be dead. So
Jure now likely to stay with Wolves after all 3 of their strikers are injured. I thought he signed.
I think they might struggle next season, Wolves.
I
think it's. I don't think they've. I can't remember they've made a signing, but I don't think Leicester have signed anyone either.
No.
United have only signed Christian Eriksen, I think.
Yeah. So there's not a lot really going on in the transfer window, really. I know there's a few clubs that have made a few signings, but when you look around,
I think there's knock-on effects to go because I think it's pretty tight. And I think there's a few clubs that want players that might we're in the chain of command, if that makes sense. We're in the middle of the chain. So, a few players have to do a circle.
Yeah.
Before
you're looking for a player to move to one club to allow another player to move on. And
yeah.
I think that's what the problem with the
It's like buying a house with a chain, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it is with Brozier. Chelsea have lost Lukaku. Looks like Werner's on his way out. So they're only going to be left with, as Brozier is their only real out-and-out centre forward. So, that's why Chelsea don't really want to offload him. Chris Mills, I'm guessing he's talking about Soucek here. The trouble set the bar so high is that people expect that level every week. Paul says, lads, I said the end of last season, Soucek and Soufal were back to their very best this season after a good break. It was mental to expect them to be superb last season after I'm presuming the amount of games that they played. Gary says, side Rice is a fucking ignorant comment made by non-football people or people that don't watch him like we do. I don't even think this guy is a great finisher. It's what he does as a target man.
Yeah, I think Scamacca is going to bring a lot of play. He's gonna be like a bit how Andy Carroll was, hold the ball up. But I think he's gonna be obviously better than Andy Carroll.
Bringing more players into play. So it's a lot like when you watch Giroud when he was at Arsenal and Chelsea. He could score goals, but he also created a lot of goals with his movement, cutting through defences, moving centre halves. Like Nicky said with Antonio, dragging the centre half towards the ball is instead of dragging the centre half away and opening up a bit more space.
When you look at him, he looks like he's going to give defenders like a torrid time. He looks like he's going to batter them for 70. Imagine like 75 minutes, you've got a fresh Antonio to bring on, to then go at the defenders that have been battered around all game. Like, it's a good option to have. And I think it's an option that if we'd have had that last season, we would have gone one step further in Europe and in the league.
Yeah, that's it, mate. I think you are right. I think what lapped us from winning that competition was an out striker. As Mickey says, if anything, Johnson plays back and sideways instead of bombing forward. Really annoying.
Who? Ben Johnson?
I think it's who he was referring to there. I'm not sure. Riddle Boy 190. We need a striker that gets in the box and not take everyone to the wing and expecting others to be in the box doing his job, like what Antonio does. I think that's touching on what Nicky was saying earlier.
I think with Antonio. Sorry, just quickly. I think with Antonio as well, knowing that he's going to play more out on the wing this season, it puts pressure on Bowen and Fornells as well to up their game, because Antonio for me can be a starter in that position.
Yeah,
I think he does start. I think he still does start because what Antonio does give you, and I know people are going to say what you're talking about after, moaning about him being up front, but he gives you goal for it. Like I think he gives you more of a goal for it than Fornells gives you, and I think he gives you more of a goal for it.
I'll tell you what will happen next season with Antonio. It meant to be playing out in the wing, and he'll end up being in the box all fucking game.
Yeah, blocking Scamacca.
Getting in Scamacca's way.
Yeah, see, the thing is, for me, is if you look back to when Antonio played right wing, the amount of balls we cross in from the left-hand side that are crying out, no disrespect to Bowen, but you want Antonio running in at the back post from that right wing position. Look at the goals that he scored from that position when he had that vein of scoring form. Bowen wants to get inside and have a shot. Whereas Antonio, we don't want him shooting out the box. I don't want him playing on the left and cutting in and having a shot. I want Antonio on the right, that when he gets down the right, he's pinging the ball in the box, or as we seem to do a lot, move the ball out to the left and cross it in to be him attacking that back post late on. It'd be interesting to see if Moyes goes for a 4-4-2 type formation, whether we sit with a Bowen and Scamacca up front and have Antonio right wing.
And I think this as well could be the making of Ben Rama.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Playing it, to be fair, I'd bring Ben Rama into that number 10 role.
As you said,
having
someone like Scamacca up front who's going to hold the ball to lay it off for people like Ben Rama, this could be. Ben Rama frustrates a lot of the fan base. I'd still keep Ben Rama. I like him. I think there's a lot more to come from him. And having someone like Scamacca could give him that confidence to play them little 1-2s around the edge of the box and see what he used to do at Brentford in the West Ham side.
Yeah, yeah. Lewis says Bayern's looking sharp pre-season, even though he hasn't scored. Barry Witt, amazing runs, probably one of the only ones who made that many runs of worth. Not sure because we've skipped through a lot since then. Well, hey, a bit of positivity.
Always positive.
Nicky's spot on. Every reason to have a cautious optimism, mainly I think due to last time West Ham signed a lot of players in the first season London Stadium on Bilic, it went badly wrong. Ryan, you've been down to Peacock during the summer, you're looking trim.
Peacock ain't been there for ages.
But
yeah, thank you.
Still think another striker is needed. Totally agree with that. Chris Mills, with regards to tickets that the club said you can purchase cards. Now they're saying if you don't have a smartphone, you have to call the ticket office every match day to get one printed. Right.
Oh, yeah, it's the season. I got my season ticket through the other day.
Yeah, so Frankie James, we had a strong pre-season last season and we had such a great start. It hasn't been great this pre-season, hardly any goals or creativity, so I hope it's not a sign of things to come. I think someone said it in the comments earlier, under Avram Grant, we won every game pre-season, so you can't take a lot out of pre-season.
That's when That's
Paul's
when I
on
stopped
there,
worrying about it. Yeah, that's when I stopped worrying about pre-season that year. But I remember that.
Yeah, there you go. See, Paul's comment there just sums it perfectly up. And Belletti is still available on a free. So yeah, I've missed 262 live comments, so I can't star any if you wanted me to, Nick.
No worries, mate. Listen, let's move on to the next subject. We'll save the Kostic one for last. The club have had a bit of a nightmare, in my opinion, this week with the tickets. First of all, they've transferred over to, I don't know what they're called, NTC, NPC, TYC, YMCA. What the fuck's it called? The fucking, when you just tap it.
Fuck knows.
No,
I think it's NTC.
NTC, all right. Yeah, they've transferred over to them, which has caused a bit of an uproar. A lot of people saying about, cards and all this sort of thing. They should issue cards. They didn't issue cards last season. I didn't expect NFC. There you go. I didn't expect them to be issuing any cards this season. Although I think if they want to go to that model, I think they should initially. But it's because of. I think it's because of. To be honest with you, I think it's because of illegal ticket outing. I think that's why they've changed it, and now you have to sort of register who you're sending it to, pay a fee to transfer it and all that sort of thing, and then they've ballsed up with the away tickets today, which is we'll see. But I spoke about this briefly on the podcast. I just wanted to get your two opinions on the NFC stuff. I don't think it's a bad idea, and I know a lot of people are going to be up in arms and think like, "What are you talking about?" and all that sort of thing. But just hear me out here a minute, right? We was printing out these fucking QR codes last year. I don't know whether I got sent a QR code. I don't know whether that's still going to work or whatever. But we was printing out these QR codes last year, and what we did see last year in all games, not just West Ham, but in all games across the Premier League, is a lot of people running on the pitch and fucking spoiling the game. And we see that a hell of a lot. And, towards the end of last season, and I think what you got to contribute that to is things like TikTok and things like that. People think it's fucking funny and think it's clever to do that, and what they was doing, the oil people that kept on fucking trying to tie themselves to lampposts and all that sort of thing, they was buying their tickets from ticket touts and getting them sort of illegally. I think it's a decent idea, But I'm saying that as someone who doesn't transfer their home ticket. I always go to the home games. It's very, very rare that I don't go to the home game. So, maybe I'm saying that a bit selfishly. I want to get different opinions on it because I don't think it's a bad idea.
Well, when I can't make a game, I always give my ticket, and I say give. I've never sold my ticket. I give my ticket to a mate, whether that be Graham. I've given it to Ginger Carroll a couple of times, but I give it to people I know ain't going to cause a problem because I respect the people that sit around me. I've got a lot of season ticket holders to my left, to my right, in front of me, behind me, who I get on really well with, and I wouldn't give my ticket to someone who I didn't know. So, the club want to make money. If you can't go to the game, the club want to make money from your seat. That's what it boils down to.
Well, I don't think that's what it's about, but no, I remember. I know the ticket exchange and all that sort of thing, where they was like buying people's season tickets back off them for something like £2.
Yeah,
and then selling them on for 30, which I think that's fucking atrocious, to be honest with you. I think they should give back the punt of what they get for the ticket, minus some admin fees.
Well, the thing is, what you got to look at, right, is if you break it down on average, roughly, if you look at our season tickets, we probably play in and around £30 a game, for argument's sake. Yeah, as a season ticket holder, right? For City, certain seats are £100. Yeah, so even if they were to give me, say I couldn't go City, they give me back £30. They then sell my ticket for a £1. They're pocketing £70.
Yeah.
You only need 10,000 people to do that. That's a hell of a lot of money. And that's for me what it is. It's stopping me going, ringing up, Ginger, do you want a ticket this week, mate? I can't go. You know, someone who I know is going to go sit in my seat. He's going to be respectful. He's not going to cause any trouble. He's not going to be an idiot who tries to run on the pitch or anything like that. It's, you know, that's what I do. I know other people don't. That's their personal choice. But for me, I respect the guys I sit with, and I wouldn't want to give my ticket to some random guy who messaged me on Twitter. Years ago, you had it. I remember someone. I remember seeing this pop up on a video I was watching that someone at Stoke sold their ticket to someone over the internet thinking it was a Stoke fan and they were playing Arsenal.
It was an Arsenal fan, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an Arsenal fan. And he said, I absolutely loved it because you got smashed and all this type of thing. That's what I don't want. I want my ticket.
I think what he done. I think what that situation was I think he was giving them away. And I think he gave a few tickets away to this Arsenal fan. I think he went and chucked the rest of the bin and stopped Stoke fans from going and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea whatsoever. Like, as I said, but it's easy to have that opinion when it doesn't affect you too much, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, look, there's a lot of people. Listen, there's so many people out there that, for whatever reason, can't go week in, week out like we have the privilege to do. You know, whether they can't afford it, whether they work weekends, whether, you know, they've got other commitments where they can't go. And in a way, yeah, they're the people that really want to go, and they're the people that want to buy these tickets. But then we all know that when you play teams like City, United, Arsenal, Chelsea, you end up getting opposition fans sitting in your seat. And that's the thing. If this new system stops that from happening, so we don't rock up to playing the likes of Liverpool, Man United, and the tickets are being sold to Liverpool and Man United fans, you know, then it's a good thing. But if you're stopping the everyday West Ham fans who can't get to every single game, are unfortunate to miss out on general sale tickets, then it's a bad idea. It's a catch-22. But I think the bottom line of it is the club want to make money.
What? You're very quiet, mate.
Yeah, I know. I'm just listening. I agree. Like, I mean, I rarely miss a home game. It's a home game for a long time. So, but if I ever did, my ticket would go to a mate. I'd never sell it on to someone I don't know. Never have and never will. Yeah, I mean, you're right. It stops. I mean, you should. The club should only allow you to forward a ticket to someone if they've got a history with a club. So then that would stop people then sending them on to like the likes of other rival fans that want to come and sit. And I'm up for anything to stop rival fans. There's nothing worse than going to a home game and looking round. We had the situation last season where it all kicked off behind us at Arsenal at home when there was 3 Arsenal fans sitting there like loving life. And then you can see it pisses people off, and that's what caused that big argument and a big fight, you know. And you don't want to see that, especially at a home game. The only place the away fans should be is in the away end. If you can't get tickets for the away end, then they shouldn't be in the stadium, in my opinion. In the home end, definitely. So if it stops it, I mean, with all these QR codes and everything, I'll be honest, touch wood, I've never had an issue. Never had an issue with it. It comes through to my phone. I go up, I scan my phone, I get in. Never had an issue. So,
I had an issue. I had an issue a few times, but only a few times. It really pissed me off the first couple of times, but after that, I never had an issue. And in fact, it saved me a lot of fucking time because you know what I was like with my card.
Yeah. Since day one, and they've been doing it. I've never had an issue. It's not saying that I'm not going to have an issue with this system because it's new and we've not used it yet. But look, as I said, if it stops away fans getting in the home end, then I'm all for that. I'm happy with that.
I'm all for it. Let us know what you think in the comments. I've started some comments, Scott, but
because there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than, as I said, turning round and I think a lot of people take the piss over London Stadium away fans, and they've got away with it. But over the last couple of years, people are starting to get upset a bit more with it, and it will cause fights. But then who gets the blame? West Ham's name gets dragged through the mud. Oh, they're attacking away fans in the home end. You shouldn't be in the home end. I don't care what people say. I know they do it. I know they do it in other countries, but this ain't another country. This is the Premier League.
The thing is, right? I don't know about you. I've sat in the home end at away games before, and the one thing you do is if we score, you don't jump up. Do you know what I mean? You just hold it in. And
I've never done that. We tried to do it once. Me and Ryan tried to do it. We tried to do it at Watford.
I've done it. I've been at Arsenal. I've been at Palace. And you just don't celebrate if your team score. Lucky enough for me, when we played Arsenal, we got beat 2-0. So I didn't have to. But it's just how you act when your team scores. I've sat in the home end at Upton Park with a Tottenham fan sitting next to me when we got beat 1-0 by Tottenham. He was respectful and didn't jump up when Tottenham scored. It's how you think. It's how you act. And that's what the big thing is you see it, especially when we play these big sides. People walk down to the front. Like we played City. City had a penalty. Someone walked down to the front of the stand to film the penalty. And like people were saying to him, what are you doing? He's like,
why don't you flip them over the fence like the Royal Rumble?
But do you know what I mean? This is what people do, and this is the thing that they don't. This is the FIFA generation of football supporters who follow players, who support a club that the player goes to. They think that if West Ham sign Ronaldo, they go and get in. Do you know what I mean? They follow the player, and think that it's all right for them to go stand in the home end of a side who he's playing against because they're following the player. They don't get the rivalry that's in our football. Like you said, go Fulham. You stand in the away end. You stand in the home end. It don't matter. That's Fulham. Fulham's always been like that. They have a neutral stand.
There's a wicked comment here by because I know this has happened as well. I saw this happen last year at Man City as well. Julie Harvey says last season CTC goals that sat behind me sold their tickets back to the club and away supporters were in their seats. Work that one out. Well, that's either one or two things, and I can pretty much guarantee how that is. The tickets have gone on the website. They've been bought by touts, and the touts have sold them on. But more than likely, Lisa, is the club have just sold them to him, and that's what I think the club need to do. I think that they need to do a bit more due diligence about who's buying the tickets. I think there should be, if you're buying a ticket, you need to have history, and I mean like a quite a deep history going back a few years, because the London Stadium having an high capacity with more people giving their tickets back to the club. And now this where you can forward them on for a fee. The problem is with the club, and I mean this with the greatest respect, is that they don't give a fuck who's in that seat if they're paying the top money. They don't care. They don't care if someone goes there and causes a fucking fight and gets everyone banned. They don't care if they've paid that club £100, because there could be a Man City fan that goes in there, sits there for 5 minutes, or an Arsenal fan, or a Chelsea fan, or a Tottenham fan, sits there for 5 minutes, starts shouting and hollering about Tottenham. Everyone gets pissed off. He's out the door. They're not giving him their £100 back. They always keep the money, so they don't really care. But I think the club need to have a little bit more accountability about who sits in the seat. They need to, for fan experience, to keep them safe, because there was an incident a few years ago where I let some people in, good friends of mine, by the way, who were opposition supporters. Now I know I got a little bit of criticism, and looking back on it, I shouldn't have done it. I didn't sell the tickets; I gave them away. But to some really good friends of mine, and they wanted to ban me for life for it, and I owned up to it. I said, maybe I shouldn't have done that on reflection. I would never do it again. But they tried to get me banned for life, and then I made some sort of compelling arguments with them about, and it wasn't like a local rival either. It wasn't a Tottenham or a Millwall or anything like that. It was someone up north that we haven't really got a rivalry with, but they're some good pals of mine. But yeah, so there's there should be accountability. There should be accountability.
Yeah, you are right, mate, and that's what it is. I think one of the European sides. I think we were one of the away games that we had last season. Loads of West Ham fans bought tickets in the home end, and then they started refunding people that have bought them, saying if you haven't got you haven't got a history with buying tickets with a club, then you can't get in. The problem is you stop certain fans doing that, but you don't then stop the touts. because the touts will just buy tickets and they'll have that. I've started one of the comments. Let me track back and try and find it. I think someone said that maybe one idea is to have a client reference number with one club, and that's it. So, if your email address is attached to one football club, it can't then be used. Because you can go and open a couple of
Scott, you can make hotmails. You can have fucking 10 for 20 pence for hotmails and fucking Google mails or whatever. You know what I mean? They don't cost nothing. That's not a way around it. Address, maybe.
Yeah,
but then there's always ways around it. But you're never gonna eradicate it properly.
Yeah,
but you can make it more difficult. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, I remember when Rage Against the Machine got number 1 at Christmas, and they said if they get number 1, they'll do a free event in Finsbury Park. And they did the free event, and you had to have an ID. Your picture had to be on your ticket, and there were still touts selling tickets. They find a way around it, and then you're relying on security to do their job, and that's the other thing. Look at the game against the semi-final against Frankfurt. How many people barging in through the turnstiles? Geezer tried to barge in with me. I pushed him back, weren't letting him through, and then I find out after the game he still got through and was sitting up in your seats, and you had to move him on from there. It's the crazy thing. You need people like that take the piss out of people that pay money to go and watch this football club. They just rock up.
It's like the Euro final, Scott, when all the fans burst through the. I mean, I don't agree with that. Like, people pay good money to go to them final, and then you'll get some scruffy little kid who just and not even kids, adults kicking their way in and standing in your seat, and then stewards won't move them on because they don't get paid to move them on. They don't, so it's ridiculous. I've not had it where someone's tried to push in behind me, but if I did, I'll be exactly the same as you. I'll be spinning that turnstile back round and kicking them back out the other way.
Yeah. That's it. I don't pay my money, and everyone else that goes to that game don't pay their money. And people paid a lot of money to be at that Frankfurt game.
It's like when people tried to do it to me in the underground, Scott. That pisses me off as well. When they try to barge through with you, you're no, you give them a little sly elbow back. You're like, fuck off. Yeah, go and pay your fare.
Sorry, mate. I won't do
that. But yeah, it's just look. It may be a good thing. We'll wait and see. We'll see how it works and then criticise it then. But
there's always going to be something go wrong. Of course there is. But I mean, the Man City game sold out, and bearing in mind, like, I think it was the dearest tickets we've ever sold for a game. I think it was like 100. Some of them were £100 each. Now I'm hoping that they are West Ham fans that have bought them. They haven't been bought by the touts or the City fans.
No, they definitely mate. This is the thing, right? I've started a comment about P1 travel. I've done a little bit of research into P1 travel over the European games last year, and they're just legal touts at West. Are there you go. That are thinking, and they was taking the piss with some of the prices of the tickets. With Man City, mate, without a shadow of a doubt, Manchester City are at this moment in time, they're the biggest attraction in the Premier League when it comes to foreign fans. Them being in London, them being at a game where it wasn't sold out, the touts have swallowed them up, and they are being dished out to these tourists as we fucking speak. You'll see hundreds of them next week, if not thousands.
The thing is that for me, you can go. Look, if you can get a ticket, you can get a ticket. You can go to a football game, and say you're a big. I'll talk about the FIFA generation. Say you're a big fan of Ronaldo, right? You can go to West Ham. Buy a ticket at West Ham.
You say FIFA generation. FIFA's been around since '95.
All right, it's modern day football fan. You can go and watch Ronaldo play for United against West Ham. But it goes to you respect the place of where you're sitting. If you're sitting in the West Ham end and Ronaldo scores, you don't sit there and jump up and cheer and go mad because Ronaldo scored. Do you know what I mean? It's the respect that you have for the people you're sitting around and the fact that you're sitting in an away end. And that's what I don't think a lot of these people realise. They don't get it. And, I know going back on it, I think I started a comment with someone what I was looking for. with what I was saying, and he said it's tribalism, and it is. It's a lot like tribalism. You know,
we're bred different in this country. Like you look at a lot of foreign football, you do get fans mixing in the stadiums and things like that, and you go to like American sports, you get like rival basketball fans sitting together and NFL teams sitting together. It's totally different. Like it is. Football is a fucking.
In this country, in this country, I think it's just a strange thing because I've been rugby before. Rugby, home and away fans sit together. There's never any problems. And you're having a booze watching the game.
But it's a different
unfortunately,
culture.
Scott. Unfortunately, though, Scott, some fucking football fans are idiots.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's this tag that
tribalism.
It's tribalism. It's like you walk around up London. And you're walking around on a random night out and you've got shorts on, you got your West Ham badge out, and you'll get people fucking shouting things over and things like that. Or you see someone walking around in a Tottenham shirt in a train station and you'll see random people going, oh, fucking, it's different over here. It's not like that. You go to America, people walk around with their different NFL shirts on and things like that. And no one really says anything.
To be fair as well, mate, in terms of Europe, we're pretty mild here now.
Yeah.
In terms of that, you go and try and sit in the fucking home end that in Germany or fucking Italy or somewhere like that. They ain't having that shit.
When things have a little look through like social media and all that, and see what goes on in Europe now, the hooliganism wise. We had a problem back in the 80s and all that, the late 70s, where it was hooliganism over here, but there was still a little bit of respect between the opposing fans. Some of these countries now, mate, there ain't no respect whatsoever. Whether you're, they're out there, whether you're some bloke walking there to a game with his kid or whether you're an hooligan of that team, they want to bash your head in.
But that's their hooligans. I would say that. Like, there are certain sections where, you just wouldn't go. We saw it in Zagreb. We saw it in Frankfurt. We saw it in Spain. No, actually, Spain wasn't like that at all. But Italy is
fans, weren't it, in Spain?
In Frankfurt it was Spain, but in I think it was Italy is pretty bad as well. You just don't go and sit in them things. But that's the thing with them. And we come on the end of the this stuff in Frankfurt is that in England it's pretty much organised that you get the odd exception, but hooligans fight hooligans. If they want to fight, they meet up, they arrange it and all that. In Europe, when you go in Europe, anyone's fucking game, mate. I don't care if you're kids or fucking women or whatever, you know what I mean? I don't give a shit. I'll see some woman fucking turned upside down.
I think what I see in football now, especially in this country, in away games, is that most of the people who are boozed up and drugged up, and that's what causes a lot of this. So it's always going to happen. You're never going to take it away from football, unfortunately. But it's always the innocent people that get caught up in things, and it's always been like that, and it always will be like that. Like, I'm not saying that West Ham fans are the best behaved in the country, because I know they're not, and I've seen it with my own eyes, and it goes back years before I was even born. But football's a different game now. It's a family game. It's not all blokes going to football on a Saturday, bashing each other. It's not like that no more. Women, children go, families go. So it's a different era now. But you're always going to get the odd people.
Yeah, but do you think that's more in just in this country? And a lot of it, I started comment while we're touching on the hooliganism side of it. With movies like Green Street, and the fact that West Ham haven't been in Europe for a long period of time, do you think that a lot of it is that these rival fans who have got their hooligan element have seen from the 70s and 80s that the West Ham firm was one of the biggest firms and all that type of thing, and they just look at it that
and it was, and as it happened when we was in Frankfurt and they attacked the bar we was in. They're attacking us because you're right that West Ham are major targets because it's another feather in their cap that, oh yeah, we attacked and bashed up West Ham, but they're attacking a pub with families in and kids. You know, later on in the night, when there was fans that were there looking to fight, they didn't turn. They did turn up, but they got turned away straight away. They got run out, and that's the difference. It's always the innocent people that are going to get targeted, especially away in Europe, because of what happened in the olden days.
Yeah, that's what it is, and they like you said, they pick the soft targets.
They pick the shirt wearers, and because they know that they're not there.
They pick people like us who are just there to go and watch a game of football.
Yeah,
because it's a trophy.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's a trophy. They an everyday sort of like, especially in Europe, an everyday fan that who support Zagreb or Frankfurt or whatever, if they see fucking like I won't name any names because I'm not going to do that, but if they see one of the top boys laying on the floor bleeding and all of that, it's obviously a big coup. But to the everyday fan and all that sort of thing, if they saw me laying on the floor with my head smashed in a West Ham top, they're going to think, oh yeah, we done them. And like there's differences between like but I've seen both sides of that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people say it's not necessary and all that, but sometimes it is, and I mean that with the greatest of respect, because when we was in Frankfurt, the people that were with us were looking after us, and they was looking after normal people because they know they're not there for fighting and hooliganism and all of that sort of thing. They was looking after us to make sure that didn't get to the normal person, and they found the people, because the people that were looking for them people weren't looking for them people. They was looking for anyone.
It's just like away days in like when you play London rivals. Like you couldn't go Tottenham away and wear your West Ham shirt, walk into the stadium. You couldn't, because you know what's going to happen. But it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. You should be able to wear your colours, but it's just what happens, they get these people that want to target, and they think that by knocking some innocent fan out and put it all over Twitter, that they're some sort of fucking nutters, when really they're bellends.
Gary Edwards says bullshit about Green Street. It was going off all over the country years before hooligan films were ever made. We never said that it was down to Green Street. Let's be fair.
No.
Like we know it was going off in the 70s and the 80s and all of that sort of thing. It was to do with more society than anything else, and oppression and things like that, and working class people, and a lot of people being fucking abandoned by the state and all that. We know it's nothing to do with Green Street. What we're saying is nowadays it's changed a little bit, that when we're going abroad, films like Green Street make us a fucking prime target to these people, because they think they're nutters because they got a film out. The Tories, there you go. The Tories were the problem. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. A lot of oppression, a lot of poverty, a lot of young people not trying to fit into society, a lot of unemployment and all that sort of thing, and that's what caused a lot of it.
As I said, look, people go football to watch football. Some people go for a piss up and a laugh with their mates. Some people go for a fight. That's just always going to be like that. It's always going to be like that. But if you don't want to fight, and you just do what we do and what most people do, go and meet your mates, have a pint, go to the game, have a laugh, talk about the game after, and go home.
No,
it's like what you guys were saying.
Scotty, take some comments, mate, before we go on.
Like you guys were saying, though, without that element of our fan base, you are unprotected when you go to these away games. So as much as that you can sit here, not us so much, but people will criticise our hooligans, so to speak. Like you guys have said, without them when you go away.
The thing is, mate, it's like with us, is like, especially for us doing this channel after away games, like when the away enders like flooded out and they've all got on their coaches or trains or gone back to their cars, we're still outside the away end. So the amount of times we're finished doing fan cams, we're packing up and we start walking back to the car, and there's no one there with us, and then you see all the home fans coming out, and they give us a little bit of stick and things like that, but you just got to learn to ignore it. Sometimes you will fucking say something back, because if you show that you're fucking like head down, they're gonna intimidate you a bit more. But if you tell them to like do one or whatever, then 9 times out of 10 they just fuck off. We've had it a few times doing this channel, but it's part and parcel of what we do. We don't finish fan cams and then start walking around looking for trouble.
No. And the thing is, as much as you can try and avoid it, if trouble will have its way of finding you. Do you know what I mean?
And since we've been doing this channel, and even before doing this channel, you'd go to a pub after a game while you're waiting for your train back, and you'll walk back, and you'll always bump into home fans and things like that. And even in London derbies, like 9 times out of 10, you're all going to meet at the same station. One of the main stations in like London Bridge or wherever, Waterloo or wherever you're going to. So you're always gonna have that bit of back and forth like banter and things like that. But that's what I'm saying.
That's it, mate.
These trolls tonight with this.
I've tried to ban that one 3 times, mate. Can you get rid of it? Because it keeps coming up as an error. I've put one time out.
Yeah, no, it comes up error because someone's already blocked them. So it might be like Miss Amaret or something like that. So, okay. or I've tried to block them or you've blocked them. But yeah, these fucking no one wants to see the fucking stupid adult naked games. If we want that, we'll do it ourselves. We'll start West Ham TV.
We'll log on to Lawless's stream if you want to see all that.
Going back to what we were talking about, the new setup, it's near field communication. That's what it stands for. Andy's saying, hello, Andy, mate. Hope you had a good time I know he was working, mate, but I hope you had a good time. Andy says the club are not charging you to forward a ticket at this moment in time. Billy says you can literally still send it. Gravy 370B, I think it's an alright idea, but it should be a small transfer and register fee. Club need to know who it's going to within the stadium. Claret Boo says, is it the first NFC pass that sits in your wallet for the entire season, or are they sending fresh tickets?
I think it is one.
It's one for the season, and that's it.
And it updates every game.
Yeah, because in the email they tell you not to delete the email either. So it's all there, and you have to download it to your Apple Pay or Google Pay, and go from there. Again, yeah, he's touching on where we were saying the pitch invaders, stuff like that. The little prick that almost cost us Europa League game. I think that was one of the top highlights, really, of that thing of pitch invaders causing problems, you know, and that just shows that guy was a West Ham fan. You know, why you run on the pitch at a time when we're on the attack, I don't know. Kent Emma says you can forward your ticket easy enough if you can't go to a mate as long as they've got a smartphone. Cliff says NFC sounds a bit full. Is sound, but to forward to a friend person must be a client reference number, which means the club can target others with adverts as soon as a person registers with a CNR. Kent again says you can forward the ticket easy enough. I think I've read that one. Sorry. Will X, UEFA have trials of standing in some stadiums this season. Can't remember where. I think we've been put forward as one of the ones. It was a trial at United and a few others, I think, last season. There was 5 clubs, I think, trialled last season.
Tottenham, I think, was one.
One of them.
We had safe standing where we were, didn't we, Roy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we've put in to be asked to add it to the trial, personally. Going back to what we were saying about the tickets, I paid 70 quid for a seat at City last season. Nove's last game, adult, child over 65 are all the same cost as me. Normal, my kids and dad are half price. Cost me 210 for me and my 2 children. And that's the thing. That's where they take the mickey a little bit, you know. Lawrence Watkins, Nicky had an issue because of his flip phone.
Yeah, I've got Motorola StarTAC. I don't know if I can get that on there.
The funny thing is, right, there was a thing saying that if you had an Apple, you could hold it flat. If you had an Android, you had to slightly tilt it.
Right.
I thought you meant like a proper Apple then, Scott.
John said, totally agree. There should be total accountability for who has a ticket. It's been passed, and I'm not a season ticket holder. Dean says, I was in a clock in once when we scored. Worst West Ham goal I've ever experienced.
I can't. I've never done it, but I can't find it. I can't contain myself when we score, and I bet it's fucking horrible.
Yeah, you have to, because the thing is as well, you have to look disappointed at the same time.
Oh, fuck's sake!
The thing is as well, when they lose, you have to stand up when everyone else stands up and sort of like look that you're happy that they've scored, and no one notices that you're not cheering. Matt says, my uncle is a Liverpool fan. He went to Liverpool at home last season. He didn't cheer or took the piss when Trent scored or the other geezer. Epic Ash time. Did you hear about the geezer who bought a ticket from a season ticket holder, and then the season ticket holder showed up anyway and stole the seat?
I'm sure that's happened more than once.
Yeah. There needs to be a Premier League cross-platform thing. Oh, this was one I was saying earlier, with one email applied to a club reference number per club. I bet that was a London side, Nicky.
I think he's talking about when I give the ticket. No, it wasn't.
No.
I'll tell you, was it Liverpool?
Yeah, fans like myself can't go over games, so it's unfair to have it for people who have history. I've only been able to go 3 matches in the last 3 years. Next one, sorry. Where are we? On these podcasts here, West Ham fans who have a sense.
Yeah, but then going back to that, then he has got history, because then they've got his address on the system.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It don't matter if you haven't been for a few years, because I understand people can't go games and that, but as long as your account history is on West Ham system, so they've got your address and all your details, then that's fine.
Yeah, that's it. On these podcasts here, West Ham fans who have a sensible debate, so why can't it be like it used to be? Go as fans, because you're talking about the minority causing problems. Ironworks 1990. Too many cokeheads without sounding perchies.
Preachy.
Sorry.
Perchies.
Sorry. Andrew says, in fairness, we should all be able to take our kids and feel safe at ground. I totally agree with that.
I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
I never took my sons for a good few years after we moved, because there was too many fucking idiots there, to be quite honest with you. There are still fucking idiots there, but they're not as bad. He's a bit older now, so.
Gary says, sorry, mate, West Ham are probably the worst without drink or drugs. I think there's a lot worse out there, to be fair.
Look, listen, I've noticed it a lot of, especially last season as well, at away games. There is a lot more of these dickheads that go, and the youngsters that we see them. I remember one game last season, Wolves away. They was right down by the home fans, and for 90 minutes there was a crowd of about 10 kids, because they was all in their like sort of early 20s, late teens, and for the whole game they was just giving it to the Wolves fans. Didn't even watch the football, and as soon as that final whistle went, they were the first to run out and run straight back to their coaches. Now, all them fans that they've been winding up, them home fans that they've been offering out all game, who are they going to come around the away end and attack if they do?
That's it.
People. Because them people that have been doing it are on the coach now, laughing and joking, eating their fucking Lunchables.
Yeah, you see it at Frankfurt at home. There was people close to the away fans there that were giving it the whole time that they were there, and they were all young. And the people around me, we were saying, if it went off, they'd be the first ones to run away.
Of course.
I've
noticed it a lot, especially last season. And I don't know whether that was something to do with not having football the season before because of lockdown, and everyone just was just buzzing to get back out. And
to be fair,
youngsters just want to prove, like, try to show off in front of the older lot and all that. But trust me, most of this older lot think they're embarrassing.
But there's a lot of dickheads, man. There are a lot of dickheads that go. There are. Do you know what I mean? Like, we was at a game last season, Norwich game, when the fucking dickheads started being dickheads around us, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, and there's a lot of them that fucking sit there on Twitter and wind everyone up and all of that sort of thing. There's a lot of dickheads that go to West Ham. There is, but there's a lot of dickheads that go to every club. So
Yeah, look, we only know West Ham, but I'm sure. Listen, I speak to my mates that support Arsenal, and he tell me the same thing. I speak to my mate that supports Chelsea, and he tells me exactly the same thing. Right, and it's just what we. I mean, we've grown up, and but we've seen this new generation of fans coming through, and it's not all fans. It's not all fans. There are ones that go to football, but there's a lot that go not for the football. They're just happy to get a ticket to get in that stadium, and that's it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
There you go.
let's move on.
Should we move on to anything? Or you got?
We're going to go ask us anything. It's just a quick update on the. It's very brief because I don't know much more than this. I'm not in the know or anything like that. But it seems like Kostic now wants to go to Chelsea. It seems like he doesn't want to drop out of Champions League football. And if he was to leave Eintracht Frankfurt, he's not going to come to us. He wants Champions League football, which I don't think you can knock a geezer for, really.
No, the thing is, he's won the Europa League with them. He's got Champions League football next season. It was always going to be a tough ask to get him to come to us. As much as the Premier League's an attraction, you saw that with Scamacca. There was a few top clubs with guaranteed Champions League football that were sniffing around him. I think PSG was one.
Yeah,
and he chose us because he wanted to play in the Premier League. So
there was two unnamed Premier League teams as well.
This is it. So look, you're not going to get all of them, but now let's move on to the next target. They've got to have that target there.
That's what I want, though, Scott. If a player turns around and says no, or this is the reason, that's the reason. If you want to keep on pursuing him, then pursue him, but have other targets in mind. And I think that was the same with Brozier and Scamacca. The Scamacca news come, although we was linked to him, it come out of the blue really, because it looked like we was really going down the Brozier link, down the Brozier route, which I and I'm sure a lot of other people, skeptical people, were thinking to themselves, "Oh, there we go, we're going to fucking chase this geezer to the end of the summer. We're not going to get him, and then we're going to end up with no one." But it just seemed like they was, Chelsea were and and they went, "Well, if you're not going to sell him, we'll go and get this one." But there we go.
Well, we get the questions in for us, and if it picks up a couple more. Apparently, Cullen's running the show for Burnley tonight. That's good to see. He was a good player for us. Good young player. That we had to let go who went. So it's good to see him playing well.
He'll learn a lot under Vincent Kompany.
Yeah. Apparently, Kompany's got him playing like City. So, first one for you. Have you guys ever clapped an opposition goal against us at a game?
No, I've never clapped an opposition goal, but I've thought to myself, that's a fucking good goal. But I've never clapped. I've never stood up and clapped or clapped. I've seen some great goals down the years at the Bowling and the London Stadium as well by opposition players, but I've never clapped them. But I'll also always appreciate a good goal as much as it hurts.
Yeah. I think that's right, mate. I think as a football fan, you appreciate when a team's worked hard and played really well to get a goal against you.
What's a goal off the top of your head? Have you seen go in and think, fucking hell, that was a good goal?
Tevez for United, same time Ashton scored that game. That was a bloody good goal he scored against us.
I remember two off the top of my head. One was Ashley Young for Villa against us. It was a fucking super goal. And one was David Beckham, which was a touch of class. And
in recent years, I'd probably say Eden Hazard at Stamford Bridge when
that was a good goal.
Took it around the whole team. And I just thought to myself, fucking. I've seen Rooney score some great goals against us. Especially the one from the halfway line when fucking Adrian looked like he was on Strictly Come Dancing at one point when he's spinning round. Yeah, but there was just some goals where, like, I was sitting next to you at Stamford Bridge that day when Hazard scored that goal, and I never applaud a goal, but it's one of them ones where you just turn around and look at each other and sort of shrug your shoulders and go, well, what the fuck can you do about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You do. That's the football fan in you. It's the love of the game that you get, that you you appreciate the type of football that's played by some teams and the goal.
I remember one goal years ago. Fucking hell, it was about 97, I think it was. It was at Upton Park, and we won the game. We beat Liverpool 2-1. But I remember Robbie Fowler scoring one from the edge of the box.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
He
Yeah,
turned on a half volley and smashed it top corner. And I thought, do you know what? I thought to myself, "Whoa, mate, that's a strike."
Yeah, I remember that.
Right, but we beat them. Berkowitz and Hartson scored scored the goals for us that day, and we beat them. So happy days.
Yep. Let's go ask us anything then, Scott. I've started a couple.
That wasn't asked us anything. Andy's just saying, have you seen the update, the Sky update? Wolves home now, 5:30, 1st of October. West Ham Bournemouth on Monday night.
Yeah, I don't think we play
the way 4:30 on a Sunday.
I don't think we play on a Saturday now until it won't. We're not going to play on a Saturday this season unless we get knocked out of Europe.
Do you know what? Right, the fact that we're in Europe again. All right, I know we've got to get through the qualifier and all that, but the fact that we're in Europe and then moving so many of our games, it's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay, first ask us anything.
Wait.
People like pineapple and pizza ever be trusted?
Yeah, man, I love pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, I love it. You can trust me.
Who the fuck don't like pineapple on pizza? I don't understand these people. These people that say they don't like it must not have tried it, man. I remember once in Mexico, right? We were standing there for a fucking pizza, right? For how long was it? Was you with me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody was lining up for this Hawaiian pizza. Everybody. And they was a bit slow in cooking them, right? And I remember when he put it in the fucking tray, it was one of them sort of all-inclusive things where you had to take a slice on that. I slid the old fucking pizza on my tray and took it back to the table. And people were proper pissed, man. Proper pissed.
I like it. I mean, if people don't like it, don't eat it. You know, if you like it, eat it. I don't get these. I don't get people when they say, "Oh, you eat that, it's fucking horrible." At the end of the day, you eat what you want. You like it, you like it. You don't, you don't.
I used to eat peanut butter and onion sandwiches. I used to love them.
See, I love onion. I love raw onion. I could eat raw onion.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was peanut butter and raw onion. I used to eat them when I was a kid, man. I used to eat them all the fucking time. Peanut butter and raw onion sandwiches. And I used to tell people that, and they, honestly, you'd have think I was eating children, you know, the way some people looked at me. But it is what it is. Yeah.
It's like someone's put Tim's put jelly deals. I mean, I don't like jelly deals. I can't stand them. I've tried them and I didn't like them, so I won't eat them again.
Graham says, I've been living in Canada for the last 17 years, so I'm so out of touch with tickets. So if I flew back to a game, how the heck would I get one? You can go to the website and you can buy a ticket as an international fan before you come over. I do believe that is how it works. So just have a look on the website.
John's just put there, I love pineapple crumble. What is it? Pineapple crumble custard, not on a pizza. I've never had pineapple crumble. That sounds the absolute bollocks.
I bet that's nice, man.
I love apple crumble as well. Like, so pineapple crumble, I might have to get on to that. That sounds so nice. Oh, talking about desserts, though, I had a lovely ice cream the other night. It was so nice, man. It was a bubble gum and strawberry one or something like that.
Do you know what, right? Chloe sent me a picture earlier on about this fucking place that's opened up in London somewhere. She wants to go, right? They do like these really, I think they call them household sort of ice cream flavors, right? And like they've got things like Frosties, which sound nice, doesn't it? Like Frosties ice cream and a couple of other bits and pieces. Custard, I think, like, you know, that bird's custard. They've got shit like Worcester sauce ice cream and tomato sauce ice cream and fucking mayonnaise ice cream and salad cream ice cream. Yeah. I'm thinking, what the fuck is this? Well, I'm not going there.
Mate, do you know what?
Yeah, you got to cater for everyone. You ain't got to eat it, have you?
Baked bean flavour. Yeah, but fuck me, right? Come on now. Come on.
I'll tell you what, Nick. Right, sometimes the most weirdest flavours are the ones that taste the best.
Yeah, maybe I should go and try them. I don't know, but
it's worth a try, mate. Worth a try. Miss Amaret wants to applaud you on your backseat dancing the other day, Nicky.
No, thank you.
Gravy 370B 999. Cheers, mate. Thanks for that. Great FNP as always, lads. Looking forward to going over for the Brighton game. St Pat's and Silgo Rovers won their qualifiers. One step closer to West Ham. Hopefully, see West Ham and you boys in Ireland.
If we get there, we'll be there.
Matt Powell says Amazon or eBay?
Amazon for me.
Always Amazon for me. Even though they've put their prices up.
Pricks.
It's not too bad though. So I think it's gone up by like 15 quid, which ain't bad for the year. Ironworks 1990. Guinness, yay or nay?
Oh, fuck.
Do you know what?
No.
I don't mind. I don't mind a Guinness. I couldn't drink too many of them, but I don't mind. Like some people have them with blackcurrant in. I've had them with blackcurrant in. I don't mind that. But I couldn't drink Guinness all night, like some people. My mate who I used to work with, he drinks Guinness all night.
I don't mind one.
In fact, I've just seen Nick Tucker post that he's in Ireland now drinking Guinness.
I don't mind one, but I got put off of them years ago when me and Ryan went into a pub in Stratford, and it was St Patrick's Day, and for some reason we was in there all fucking night, and we wanted. They used to give away this these like prizes, didn't they? Like I remember I had a Guinness like blow up sofa that I used to work at student union years ago. I used to get loads of like promotional things from Guinness and WKD and things like that. And I remember I had them, but we went into this pub and they had them big, them big Irish hats that looked like Guinnesses, when they first started.
Yeah, I remember when I had one of them.
And you had to buy 5 pints of Guinness, and we tried to get one off of the fucking bar lady by just saying, "Come on, we'll buy one." But she's like, "Nah, you've got to buy 5." And so we sat there and drank 5 or 6 Guinnesses, me and Ryan, and I was fucking sick as a dog. Honestly, I was sick as a dog. In the end, I was puking up everywhere.
You ever had a baby Guinness?
Oh, what?
Yeah.
That's with Bailey's, isn't it?
Yeah,
Bailey's and Maria, they're nice. They are, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a shot, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not Guinness at all.
No, it's not Guinness at all. Now, my brother used to drink a lot of Guinness. I can have one, but yeah, not too many.
Do you remember we used to get the John Smiths with a widget in the can?
Yeah.
I always used to wonder what that was in the can.
They remember in the clubhouse, they were like stockpiled on them ones.
Yeah.
I'll open this up to everyone. Joshua Bond says, Scott, what's your favourite game at the Bowling? There's nothing beats that final game at the Bowling. One of my favourites was the 2-2 draw against United when we were 2-0 down and Dixie scored the equaliser right late on. But yeah, you can't beat that final game anymore, I don't think. You guys?
Mine was the playoff semi-final against Ipswich. Just for atmosphere and what it meant that night. I know we went on to lose the final, but I'll never forget how rocking that. And I remember the Bobby Moore stand was shaking that night. Like literally, you could feel the stand shaking. And but yeah, the last game in the Bowling was great. And I agree, Man United 2-2. There was loads of games down the years, but yeah, Ipswich semi-final.
I used to I like them games, obviously them 2 games for atmosphere and that, unbelievable. The most entertaining game I've ever seen was the 5-4 Bradford game. That was fucking everything, man. I didn't know. It was one of them games I felt exhausted after because it had everything.
Yeah.
Right, next one. EBF and Co. Do you think Benny will have a good season?
Yeah, we said this earlier. I do think he will.
Right, moving on. Matt Powell, got a question for Ryan and Nicky. When you went to Mexico, did you try wrestling masks?
I bought one. I've still got mine.
I bought about a dozen.
I got.
Yeah.
I don't even know where it. I don't even know where it is. I would run upstairs and get it, but I'll find it and I'll bring it on next week. It's the Mexican colours as well.
Yeah,
when I jumped behind the bar and started wrestling the barman, then he started.
Yeah. I remember I tried to squeeze my fucking fat nose in one of them, and it fucking made me look like something out of fucking Snatch.
Yeah, no, I've still got mine, and I'll have to find it and I'll wear it for next. I think because the last time I remember wearing it was during lockdown, the first lockdown. And I was going a bit nuts, and I was because my missus went back to work, but I was still at home, and we lived in a flat at the time, and I was going crazy because we couldn't go out, and I just started doing all random things, and I started walking around wearing my fucking Rey Mysterio mask. That was the last time I see it.
Matthew Tatum says, "What happens with the Villa away tickets? False."
Yeah, that was another balls up by the club, weren't they? People buying tickets without priority points, but I think they're gonna. I think I see someone put earlier that they're gonna refund them tickets and cancel them. Which, yeah, I can understand why they do it, but it's one of them things. I see they done another thing the other day where they put there was a Mark Noble signed shirt. I don't know if it was match worn or something. It was £1,500 and they reduced it down to £1.50 by mistake. And someone bought it. And like at the end of the day, if they've advertised it for that and they've sold it, there's nothing they can do.
Yep, exactly.
So I don't know if that person had got a refund or what. I don't know.
No, they can't do that, man. They can't do that.
Yeah, they have to.
I mean, why they're selling a signed Mark Noble shirt for £1,500 anyway is ridiculous because it ain't match worn. It's just a fine shirt in a frame.
Yeah, it's a way to make money, and it's one of them things. Lads, we'll be watching Euro final on Sunday. Personally, can't get into it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'll be watching it. I missed the game the other day because I was out, but I see the highlights when I come in. I mean, at the time I got back, there was about 5 minutes left. But yeah, no, they're doing great, the Lionesses. I watched their game against Spain, which obviously was a bit more difficult. But you don't win tournaments without having difficult games. And I think England, Germany at Wembley, I think everyone should be getting behind the girls. It's massive for them.
I think it's like with every sport that England are in. There's a lot of other sports that don't get as much publicity as football that should get more publicity, in my opinion. It's one of them. It is England. It's an England side. Whether you're into women's football or not, it's an England side, so you should be there. For me, cheering them on. If I get time, I'll watch it. But I'll support them, whether I watch women's football or not. Same as rugby. I ain't massive into rugby, but when England are playing, I'm supporting England.
Yeah, it's like, but I'm the same. Like I'm not. I only watch England in rugby. I always. Yeah. I watched the Test series. We beat Australia. I watched them games, and I do watch England in rugby, but I don't watch like the teams in rugby because I'm not really into it. But I do enjoy watching England. I always have.
Yeah, that's it. You've always got to do it. For me, you've always got to do it. John says, Nicky, lightweight. Don't know what that was. What that was
about the Guinnesses.
All right. Matt Powell, has anyone ever got so drunk on holiday and got into the wrong room?
No.
Yeah. I've ended up in a few rooms I shouldn't have.
To be fair,
that's another story.
The worst I've ever done is when I went to Mexico. I wandered out of the room and ended up on the beach somewhere, and I didn't know where the fuck I was.
Remember that night in Mexico when we got so smashed, and I thought my room was Gripper's room, and I was banging on the door, and I woke him up, and I was going, "Get out of my room!" He was going, "This ain't your room."
Mate, one of my best memories, the funniest thing, one of the funniest thing I've ever seen. I think it was the last night we were in Mexico, right? And I'm in bed with the missus. All of a sudden, there's a bang, bang, bang on my door. It's just like, I'm sure it was like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. We're going home the next day. I'm thinking, what the fuck's that? I've opened the door, walked out the room. There's Ryan sitting on the floor with our mate Craig doing the old men behaving badly.
We are sailing. Yeah, I remember that. And the American...
Someone must have called security. Even security wandered down, right? And they were meant to be like, "Oh yeah, move on." The security guard just stood there laughing. He
joined in with us. He sat down on the floor at one point, smiling. Yeah, fucking hell. And we had to get up for a flight early in the morning.
That was funny. That was, man.
I was rough on that flight coming home. Fucking hell.
JDB, I ain't even gonna try and say SKHKX. Guys, who's the most underrated, overrated assembled squad this season / transfer window?
Most underrated, I think, might be Arsenal. I think they've done some good business at Arsenal. Most overrated, I don't know.
Arsenal.
No, joking. No, I don't know. I wouldn't even say Tottenham because I think Tottenham have done good business.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think anyone's
done bad business.
No, I think what everyone's done so far
I think
is
Man
what
United,
everyone's needed.
I'll be honest, I think Man United could struggle.
Yeah, I mean,
what they've done. I think they've signed Ericsson. They signed a geezer for 60 million, didn't they? And a youngster. That's a bit underwhelming. A bit overrated, I think. I think they could struggle. Liverpool with Núñez. You just don't know, do you?
Yeah, people were saying Nottingham Forest there. I mean, there's a lot of signings. I think they've got like 12 signings in there in total, going up to 13 because they've got to bring in another player tomorrow from Huddersfield. But yes, that's a lot. That's a lot of players coming into a squad. But I don't know. Yeah, I'd say underrated. I think Arsenal. I think they've done some good business, and I think they're going to be a team to watch out for next season.
Oh, don't talk to me about this, Cal. Honestly, the other day I see some of the fucking reactions to this Lingard stuff. I was thinking, Jesus Christ, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're telling me it's a project and fucking, you know, they're better than us. They haven't been in the league since the fucking Spice Girls were fucking together the first time. You know what I mean? Like, they make me laugh.
It was 99.
That's the thing that they're all hyped about being back in the Premier League, but look, there's always one side who gets promoted that sort of overachieves, and that could be Forest, but it then could be one of the other two teams that have come up.
Yeah, but they're getting a bit too cocky for a fucking team that last time they was in the league we had fat monitors, and the internet we used to do this. You know what I mean? Like, they're getting a bit too big for their boots.
I don't even. Well, last time this is the first time they'll be in the Premier League with social media and YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, look, a club with a history Forest has got. They should be in the top flight, but don't overhype yourself.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with Nottingham Forest as a football club. I used to like not support. Obviously, I didn't support Nottingham Forest, but I remember, like, when you think back to the early years of the Premier League, supporting Nottingham Forest were a big club in the Premier League, and I still remember a lot of their players. I remember Pierre Van Hooijdonk. Remember him?
Yeah.
One that went nutty, and then like they had like Jason Lee and Steve Stone and Mark Crosley and obviously Stuart Pearce. So they're they've always
Jason Lee's.
It was the pineapple on his head.
Yeah, brother or sister lived like a couple of doors up from me brother in Beckton. That was a mad one. Nicky Lee says, score bet, Jesus will score more than Scamacca.
No, don't listen to Lee Bowering. Don't listen to Jack.
No, fuck off, Lee.
I think Scamacca gets one more goal than Jesus. But Jesus will score more than 10.
Kay Weston, sup boys, just off to work over here in the States. Hope you're all ready for the new season. Going to travel for the European games. I think you said, are we going to travel for the European games?
Yeah, the plans are to travel. It depends where we are. If you get in an arse end of nowhere, it gets a bit more difficult. We are away. A few of us are away in October for quite a few games, actually, because I'm going to get married. So everyone won't be here. And I don't know whether that comes, any European games fall in that and all that, but we will be, I think we're away for 5 Premier League games. But there will be people here. But the plans are to travel, but it just depends where it is and how it falls and all that sort of thing.
Mate,
I mean, if we can go, we'll go.
It's mad when you say that, though, mate. 5 Premier League games in the space of 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. It's mental, isn't it?
Yeah, it just shows what this World Cup's done. Like, having slap bang in the middle of the season.
Fucking, but I just wish they'd done it in a month earlier, because it would have been finished and we'd have been away for 2 weeks.
What do you think? Gladiator's coming back. He's heard to be coming back to the BBC. Good to see my
I used to
license.
love a bit of fucking Gladiators, man.
Gladiators was good. It's on the BBC, so I won't be watching it.
I remember going to see Gladiators at Wembley Arena when I was a kid. I remember Wolf running the crowd and everyone shit themselves. So it's great because we was right down the front. And shit themselves. I remember that. You had who was the other one that come right into the crowd? I think it was Hunter. He was the one with the long blonde hair, wasn't it? And he jumped in the crowd. But yeah, I remember like Wolf running in and scaring all the kids. Everyone shit themselves.
Joshua Bond says, "Do you miss Upton Park?"
No.
Not anymore.
I miss the bowling ground. I don't miss the area.
Of course, we miss it, man. Come on.
I think last season made me miss it a lot less, if you know what I mean. But it's one of them. I've sort of now I'm sort of over the fact that we've moved now. You know, I know the stadium's not a football stadium, but I've just accepted. You know, we can't go back in time. We can't move back there. The stadium's gone. It's all flats now. I'm past it, but we'll always miss it. Dan Powers, I know he was messaging me before saying he's coming over, so he's it'd be good to see him when he comes over. When the West Ham Wolves tickets go on sale for the October 1st match, also I'm flying to London exactly 2 months from today. Looking forward to it. Just make sure you come and see us, mate, when you come over.
They'll probably go on sale sort of like September time, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
Something like that, yeah. We start wrapping it up now, Scott, please.
Yes, mate. That's all I've got, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah. You start wrapping it up if you want, mate.
Somebody said, "Yeah, I'll tell you what, right? I'll answer this one. You don't miss the area. Why? It's a shithole. Yeah, it's an absolute fucking dive. To be quite honest with you, it was a dive. I listen. I grew up around there, so my nan lived down Green Street for a long time. But we used to see a tramp pinning down her fucking trousers and shitting in the middle of the pavement every week,
trying to nick everyone's rib meat.
Honestly, I went and bought a rib roll once, man. She tried to dip around in my fucking, and she'd pulled down her drawers and shit and pissed on the fucking pavement. Obviously, wiped her ass with her fucking hand and all that sort of thing. Was stumbling around and then tried to grab my fucking rib roll. That's why I won't miss it. So.
But that's London. That's London normally. Well, that is an interesting one, being the fact that 2 of us are married and 1 of us is going to get married. Just to wrap it up, this will be the last one. I know you want to wrap it up, Nick.
Yeah.
Damien says, "How did you lads propose to your missus? I'm collecting the ring to do it in 10 days' time. I hope your missus ain't watching, mate."
Yeah.
Just spoiled the surprise.
How'd you do yours, Scott?
Me, mine got ruined. So me and as you guys know, me and my missus met on Christmas Eve in O'Neill's in Leytonstone. So I had it all planned out to propose on Christmas Eve, take her out for a nice meal and all that.
What, on the same night you met?
Please do not tell me it was in O'Neill's.
No, I ain't that bad. God, no,
I was saying, fucking hell, Scott, you did that, did you?
No, I had it all planned out and everything, but I was on call and I got called into work on Christmas Eve. I spent about 8 hours in work on Christmas Eve, and it all went Pete Tong from there. So in the end, I had to propose Christmas morning as a last minute Christmas present, wrap it all up and do it that way.
You twiked it.
I was in Disney World. We was in the Beauty and the Beast's castle.
That's a nice one, mate.
Yeah.
Right.
I was in Las Vegas, helicopter ride into the Grand Canyon, proposed in the Grand Canyon, then a limo back to the hotel. Perfect.
But I only done it in...
and I burnt my knee on the floor because it was so hot. Literally didn't even wait for her to answer, and I was up because it fucking burnt my knee. It was so hot in the Grand Canyon. But yeah, it was a great... I mean, the mad thing is that like all the way there, like I'm not good with traveling, and we must have got in the only helicopter that didn't have air conditioning. And like I remember the pilot kept trying to talk to me, and like I'm trying to concentrate because I'm trying not to be sick. And like Jay's laughing at me, and then coming back, I'm thinking to myself, "Oh, please just land the helicopter, land the helicopter." So we're flying over the strip. As we're landing in the airport, we're getting it on the floor, and I land, and I open the door, and I think to myself, "I think fuck for that." And as I turned around, Jade was throwing up everywhere. So he was taking a piss out of me, but she was the one that ended up being sick. So, yeah.
Right, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's Friday Night Pint. As I said before, you can check out the new edition of the podcast. It just come out yesterday, I believe. There will be clips coming up over on this channel for free if you want to check that out. If you're not a patron and you want to listen to some of the podcasts, we will be building up for the Manchester City game next week, which is the beginning of the season, and obviously all the fan cams and everything else that go on top of that. Scott's going to get me over a preview, ain't you, Scott?
Yep.
Yeah, first one of the season, and we're back. It's going to be a very, very busy season, I'm sure. But thank you very much for joining us. One thing left to say:
come on, your eyes.